Hello everyone, it's me, Future Wolf. You may be wondering why I've disturbed the space-time continuing to bring you this message, but just know that it's very important. Currently, Future Wolf, further down this script, got to about episode 4 and almost reached the point of quitting. That's right, me, at the point of quitting, the mighty wolf, brought low by King's Game. Honestly, I'd rather pop my cock in a mousetrap than keep watching, but at this point I'm essentially the ghost of anime past, so I guess it's my duty to keep going. I had some kind of epiphany at the end of episode 4, like the apple falling on Newton's head, or being hit in the face by Barry Bonds.
The plate. The pitch. There's a long one to right field!
Imagine this, and this may be a challenge for some of you, but imagine the worst person you know, and now let them make an anime of their choosing. The author of King's Game can only be described as Wolf's word of the day, which is fat neek. I didn't think it was possible to find someone I dislike more than the author of I'm Standing on a Million Lives, but well, here we are. I'm going to give a content warning here, because this bumperclark tried to make the most edgy piece of work imaginable, and trust me, it's really, really shit. Allow me to hand back to Past Wolf, who's totally unaware of what's about to happen to him. Watch like a time traveller forced to witness the assassination of a beloved figure, or the first man to get AIDS from a monkey, and being totally powerless to stop it. I was not really sure what was next after the very real and pure hatred of I'm Standing on a Million Lives, which was essentially my version of Thanos, with me being Ant-Man, crawling in his ass and expanding. I figured I'd seek out more pain for your enjoyment, like some sort of BDSM dog play, except I'm not in a £10,000 suit and no one calls me a good boy. I settled on King's Game when I saw it was only 12 episodes. Written into manga by Nobuaki Kanazawa, a name I will only say once as I'm sure I'll keep fucking it up, is an anime about, I don't know, I've not watched it. I think it's a killing game, so I think Aussie rules football.
Suddenly looks impressive. Oh!
I really am going in totally blind here, like a slow Loris that's just been flashbanged. Our hero, who I've not yet named, finds himself in the middle of Trench Crusade when he gets a text, and by his reaction, I assume it was from his mum and dad telling him that they're getting a divorce. This is the King's Game. All members of your class will participate, and the King's orders are absolute. You have 24 hours to carry them out. Withdrawal from the game midway is not allowed. The King's Game, I assumed, is a Japanese version of the Duke of Edinburgh, where British teens bumble across the countryside like misladen sheep. Seat number 12 Nobuaki will be punished by drowning to death for disobeying the King's order. Some naked bitch with no ass crack falls away and comes apart like a flake bar all over his desk. Ah, bollocks. Oh, it's sports day. They are wearing headbands like kamikaze pilots in training. This girl falls on her head like a dumb idiot, and it's up to our hero to pass it on to the girl, who cleverly uses her big tits to win the race. I used to love sports day, managing to trick my school into trusting me of the starter gun, so that when we were on the opposite end of the field to the teachers, I began playing Russian roulette with the runners, not knowing which click was the real starter pistol, and gaining a record number of false starts. They have a group photo, which I'm sure will be referred to as each member of the class dies, and they can dramatically blank out their faces. Having a quick look at the state of some of these goblins, I immediately distinguish which ones would be left at the end, based on how much effort the author put into drawing them. Let's tick off a few generic boxes, shall we? Fucked, 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 mega fucked, 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 totally fucked, fucked, fucked. Our hero gets sent to the back of the class like he's Rosa Parks, and I really am still struggling for a name, as he hasn't showed a single character trait yet. She says her name's Honda, and he's like, ugh, like he drives a Mitsubishi. He totally blows it with Honda Accord, sandbagging her shitty drawing like a big square, furiously masturbating under the table. I think he's going to be closed off from the others, so I'm going to call him Closet, along with other reasons, I'm sure. A guy comes in trying to be his friend, and attempts to pat him on the head like a country dog. Oh, good booch. And he's like, no, friends, and runs off like the weird kid late for class. Honda Accord, with the tact of a hammer to the trachea, says, oh, did something terrible happen at your old school? Are you just some big pussy who can't make friends? And he sprints away crying. Honda Accord won't give up and invites him to the relay, as apparently the sports festival is going to be his big welcome party, like the 1936 Berlin Games. It's absolutely awful how nice these people are to him. As I'm a certified miserable bastard, I take umbrage with all of it. The camera gets lawsuit close to her muff, and the class cheers with the same gusto as a Christian camp counsellor celebrating the opening of a new gay conversion therapy centre. He says he can't run, like he has polio, and psychs himself up with some Fort Minor, like it's 2007 Ronaldo highlights on YouTube.
10% luck, 20% skill, 15% concentrated power of will.
She's like, wow, she's so happy, even though her parents both died in a plane crash. It was a murder-suicide, I think. I assume that they meant it was one of those light Cessna aircrafts that crash all the time, but for me it'd be way funnier to imagine her parents doing 9/11. We have our first wank piano moment, and they celebrate their victory. Someone should tell them that dropping the baton is an instant disqualification, but fuck me, I guess. We watch them all sleep like a sex offender version of Santa. He gets the first King's Game message, and the quest is for Closet and Honda Accord to kiss. Or they're all like, oh, hell yeah, lad, let's do it. And she's like, oh yeah, actually, I'm alright with it. Which honestly I didn't expect. I was expecting her to be bashful like a pangolin. He's like, the King's Game is real, we have to play. And it just makes it awkward and weird. They rightfully laugh at him, and this guy's like, shut it, dork, and the class turns on him. Great. Honda Accord's mate Subaru tries to help her out with some great wing-womaning. Though I am quite suspect on Honda Accord's taste in men, as she seems to like moping and crying in corners. He says, I can't kiss you, like a woman who got too handsy at a gay bar. She's awfully nice, and I hate it. She climbs the fence and tries to hit him with a double hammer fist and botches it. If you think about it, if the King's Game is real, and he's refusing to kiss her, that would actually result in both of their deaths. So really, he's just condemning her to die on account of being a big old pussy. She kisses him without consent, which considering she doesn't believe in the game, that's kind of fucked. He notes how her lips are cold, which is weird. She's going to be dead or some spirit or some shit, I don't know. The rest of the quests are doled out, and the king I can assume is a big sex offender, as he's forcing kids to get their feet licked, boobs touched and forced sex. Apparently the new quest involves people not falling asleep, and 2 of them just go sleepies, and they die by hanging. Closet heads off to the nearest classmate and tells everyone to not fall asleep, I presume by taking a shitload of meth. They see this lad choking and he goes all bug-eyed like a crackhead. Pretty much all the people I said were fucked are, leaving only the uniquely drawn ones. They all freak out and he hits them with a... They rightfully get mad at him for bringing the game to them. I think homeschooling was really the option here. Rightfully, Subaru was like, wait, you tried to kill her by turning her down. Spot on, Subaru, my new favourite character. I'm calling this guy TJ because he looks like TJ from Recess, and they kick the piss out of Closet. Sadly, TJ dies, as he didn't lick Subaru's feet. He gets the Black Death and dies like the guy from Platoon. Honda is like me and Teriyaki need to have sex or something, and we are dangerously close to fetish territory. Just try it, Nobuaki, who I've now noticed named the main character after himself, which is kind of weird. She's like, I want my first time to be special, as the guy pretends he's not well into the idea. He's like, look, you're going to die if you don't do it. And we get a nice flashback of the last class of Closet. This weird dude tries to touch this girl's chest, and yeah, it's definitely a fetish thing. Fuck you, Nobuaki. Without missing a beat, this one guy goes, I guess her bazongas are safe for now, like he's fucking Sonic or something.
You guys. That was a close one, but it looks like her bazongas are safe for now.
I might actually hate this more than I'm standing on a million lives, and I'm genuinely in shock. I generally don't know if I can make it through this. My blood pressure is like being at the bottom of the ocean, where I'm crushed into the size of a travel-sized toothpaste. The teacher says that their 2 classmates died, and they are like, the King's Game is real. One classmate is reading 7th Manager, which I reckon is the strategy guide for Football Manager. This guy's like, you better not fuck my girlfriend, dork, after he's given a quest to do so, and honestly, I'm rooting for this little guy now. He says the guy who wanted to grope a girl was a good guy. Yeah, sure. He tells Vanilla, which is what I've named him, that he won't forgive him if he dies, which I'm fairly sure is a surefire way to get someone to turn into an evil spirit in Japan. Dork gets the piss beaten out of him after they complied with the quest. I'm super over this show, 9 minutes into episode 2. This guy gets given the order that he can make his own order, and he tells the guy to hang himself. Closet says he wants to be a musician, with George Michael I presume as his template. They contemplate forming a band together, so I think it'll be some sort of grime group. Dork is a pretty sweet gaff, and they start playing a song like it's the end of Friends. Closet says that he likes Dork's bracelet, and he says, well, if I die, you can have it like a loot drop. The clock hits 12, and he's like, sweet, I'm alive, and we get a nice wanky piano moment. These idiots don't follow him out of the room, and Dork hangs himself, pissing himself in the process, which honestly was just kind of disrespectful to show. Honestly, I'd kick the fuck out of the guy who gave the order for him to do that. And this freak is like, oh, I guess we got a smash, let's do it right now in front of everyone. Honda Accord asks Closet if he'll sleep with her first so it'll be special, and this arsehole says no, and kind of lets the other guy try to rape her. She has some sort of mental break, and she's completely in the right when she says that Closet is a total piece of shit. The voice actor puts on her best evil voice, then we get a fake sexual assault accusation to complete incel bingo. Honda Accord does a really shitty job of hiding her heel turn and tries to get her mate to kill Closet. Oh, there it is, the cross-offs. Called it. Episode 3 starts with some guy, and he sees the body and is not really too bothered by it, like, oh shit. I don't know who this guy is, but he defends Closet as he's lying there like a road-killed beaver. He is like, kill me, and take that with me. She breaks her phone, and he smacks her, which was well funny, and thus I've named him Top Bloke. I'm not going to name pigtails here, as I imagine she's pretty cooked soon. Flashback time, and it's a popularity poll where they have to pick the class gooner to vote out. We have an albino girl, which we keep seeing, so I'm guessing she's important. We get a microcosm of the American political system, where a bunch of parties harass the voters. We get more fetish shit, which honestly fucked me off big time. Long-haired guy tries to get Karma back, and Closet gives him a rah-rah speech. He finds out that the girl is, I quote, whoring herself out so she can beat his friend Vanilla in the vote. I'm really struggling here, viewer. I think it's safe to assume that the author is a big smelly twat and is well into this. Closet, after hearing, I assumed would start doing the same thing, but offering his sweet little bussy for the lads. They realise, though, that they can't simply compete with the power of the puss. I'm not sure why one of the people who gets the power of the king doesn't just order the end of the game, but I guess fucking not. Closet drags out the last vote like it's Britain's Got Talent, and the girl somehow loses, and she yeets herself out the window and gets yamtured. This wasn't even being controlled, and her punishment was to confess her fee-wings to her crush. Closet reveals he lied to save the boy like a top lad, though I can't imagine he actually knows how to escape the game. The problem with this show is that if you took out all of the weird sex acts and perverted fetish bait, then there is actually something here to enjoy. And I was like, oh, this is kind of familiar. Oh, it's like Classroom of the Elite, which is, by the way, a certified wolf banger. Vanilla states that he's very concerned about getting a girlfriend, so I assume it will become plot relevant. Oh look, it's plot relevant. Now that the girl died from her injuries, Vanilla now must obey the order. They react in shocked horror, like he's just been asked to put a bunch of duckies in a bag and swing it against a wall. He has to tell the class who his crush is. Ooh, I hope it's Closet. Oh, okay, so apparently it's not the same order, and he has to have sex in 10 minutes or he burns to death. Obviously they're going to have the girl be like, no, please, I can't, and makes it fucking weird and creepy. But they haven't accounted for the possibility that they've not mentioned anything about gay sex, so Vanilla can just fuck Closet for the easy win. Would you let your homeboy smash to save their life? Comment below. This little gay boy pushes both of them in a room and locks the door. And yes, I am calling him a gay boy for not engaging in gay sex with his friend. That's just how far in the closet he is. Just be yourself, Closet. We'll all support you. I have a quick little theory. Besides a few standout artists and creators making generational and moving pieces of art, there's a fair chunk of the anime and manga industry that's basically written by the worst people you know. You know, the people that would hiss at you if you offered a pencil, or a guy who only wears trench coats, and if it were not for strict gun control laws in your country, they'd have YouTube videos discussing their early life and interrogation. Side note, I think Japanese mass murderers are big pussies, using chemical gases like Batman villains, rather than like the rest of us. I'll cut that. Whilst we go through this soppy piano-pounding fest, I'm going to talk about the episode's name, called Melting Emotion, which is what I call chocolate fondues. Okay, no, fuck off. Absolutely fucking not. You piece of shit. You fucking wank goblin. Fuck you. Vanilla gets knocked out and gets assaulted against his will, which is fucking gross. I genuinely hate this. Like, I'm not even joking. Like, this goes way beyond I'm Standing on a Million Lives and its edgy bullshit and weird pedo moments, as degenerates could argue that it's all tongue-in-cheek, but this is played 100% straight, unlike Closet. This guy totally big bros Closet, and presumably makes him rock hard in the process. The end credits also piss me off, as the rock song is way too cheery for the tone of the show. We've just witnessed people hang and other monstrous fuckface things, and the singer's like, woohoo, let's rock, like some sort of bell-end DJ. He says we need to go to a ghost town for some reason, and we get a lore dump on the same magnitude as those dropped on Japan in 1945. It was 40 years ago. I don't know how they know this, but anyway, the king back then used envelopes to say the orders, so they're doing a great job keeping up with the times by upgrading to smartphones. Prior to that, I reckon they used carrier pigeons and smoke signals. In the near future, the King's game will be carried out via VR chat, as I'm told I have to have sex with the guy with a furry avatar, a fate worse than death. Harry, Ron and Hermione set off to the village. They're somewhat concerned about switching SIM cards, whether it would change the phone ownership like some sort of drug dealer. Closet flashbacks to when a girl was given the task of touching the king, aka me, and she said she's going to touch everyone in class. Get away from me, you vile temptress. She says she can't wait to be considered a heroine. Exactly what I want to smoke to forget this total wank. Vile temptress accidentally expresses her love for Closet, a hopeless endeavour. She works her way through the class, touching people like a weird PE teacher, and cruelly grabs this lad's man-boob, something he's very self-conscious of. C says, "Don't bother touching me. I'm the one that's been giving the orders." Oh, that was easy. She babbles on for a bit while I disassociate. She's like, "We have to kill the king," despite admitting that she was the king, and then she revealed she was just fucking with them, for the bants I reckon. She's jealous of Chibi or whatever the fuck she's called, and gives her breast a quick little boop. She obviously did this little scheme to get Closet cock, and now she's going to die. That's what you get, you little harlot. He stays with her until midnight, and she doesn't even get any crash-out knob. What an amateur. The text from the king says, "I will give you eternal darkness," which is a pretty sweet deal, as it's a GameCube classic. They say that the king is in the class, but there is only one way to find them. Hate each other. A creed I live by. She's blinded, which honestly isn't even a bad deal, considering she could have faced certain death, as you can still have a functional life. His next quest is to lose something important, which for me would be the bag of mini-eggs I've been hiding in my room like Smaug the dragon. He lets a freshly blind girl walk away alone, and I'm amazed she didn't fall down the hill on her head. And this dipshit is like, "Oh bollocks, where's she gone?" Like a dog that got off the lead. How the fuck she got herself to a beach without falling into a bed of nettles, I don't really know. Maybe she made her way there via echolocation, like some sort of bat or dolphin. She reckons she could count as the thing he cares about being gone, and he's like, "Nah, I'll just break my PS5 and destroy my collection of Cult magazine, featuring my favourite hot hunks." She basically spits in blind people's faces, saying that she couldn't possibly live like this, but fortunately for them, she didn't know where they were, and she missed. In an attempt to get rid of something he cares about, he calls his girlfriend. He's like, "Yeah, fuck you, ugly I never want to see you again." Honestly, I'd take that as a bit of a compliment. It'd be like if someone had the quest that they can't be around massive stallion cocks, and then they called me saying, "Sorry bro, we can't hang out anymore." I'd be absolutely fucking buzzing. She walks into the sea and disappears like kawaii Godzilla, and he chases after her like the world's worst submarine, and hits a hard "No!" Albino is like, "What are you, fucking stupid?" And she's now my favourite character. Episode 5. I had a little break from watching the show, considering more fun activities like being the victim of a car bomb. I wondered if I could make a slur from scratch for this dickhead author. The shortlist right now is Blorboos, Donklet, and Snarfer. Albino comes around, just acts like an asshole to Closet, which I really appreciate. And she's like, "Are you sure I'm not the king?" Like she's at an Anglo-Saxon moot. He pushes her over and she tases him. And then she's like, "You think you could beat the king like that?" Like LeBron swatting away your pathetic layup attempt. New name, LeBron. She says she's going to have fun and play the game, and he fannies about, and she ignores him and bounces. We see two other chumps who I've named Dork and Calorie, as I misheard her name. They give these two nobodies some story about fighting bullies and some shit, so we're supposed to feel something when they die. Joke's on you, author. I haven't felt anything for years. She is like, "You better give me my number so I can check up on you." Oh, you sly devil. She says, "Oh, I would have been way too shy to ask for your number before." And this lad goes, "Yeah, I get that," like some sort of legend. Why this class hasn't been placed in some lockdown, I will never know. We're supposed to believe that 13 people have died in this class, and their parents are like, "No, get back to school and become a doctor." There's no police interviews, no custody, nothing. They see the king is sending each victim a message before they die, with Vixen receiving the message saying, "Ree." They talk in his shithole that looks like my room, and they considered LeBron used to be nice. Then they say over straight-faced, "Oh, and then she got molested," and shows one of the most grotesque panels I've ever seen, which I won't show. The anime just expects me to zoom past this like some sort of NASCAR driver, and not give me a chance to say to the cunt who wrote this, "Suck a fat one, fuck you." Basically, the whole class begins to cop it in one go. Apparently, if you block the king, they can't send you messages, and thus you disobey, and thus you die. One of the classmates even cancelled her phone contract and got killed for it, like if T-Mobile or Vodafone began hiring killers. This guy dies via chocolate milk, and Closet tells Vanilla that no one can block the king. One girl is like, "Okay, I won't block the king. I'd like to see you try." This guy, if this was Among Us, would be considered hella sus, as literally everyone he's interacted with has died. Apparently now, if you cry, you die, so I better not watch any more cute animals seeing their humans again. Oh, it's so beautiful. Dork cried, and that's it for him. Closet self-reports the body, as he dies like a Lego character. Closet lies and says to Calorie that Dork is still alive and gets bonked on the head with a pipe. Somehow she managed to teleport exactly to where he was and hit him. The amount of teenage angst about confessing your feelings is quite frankly painful. She cuts him loose after Closet uses Talk no Jutsu and just fucking dies. LeBron turns up after somehow knowing they would be there. She wants to know what Dork was researching and just expects to be told after telling people that she's the king. We're back to the present day with Closet, Ron and Hermione as they take an Uber up a mountain. He gets 5 stars for not saying a word. Vanilla takes a call from a guy that looks like he's been held back a decade, so I'm going to call him severe learning disability. They are told that they have to roll a dice, with the number of people, along with the roller, all killed. We have 10 kiddywinkles left. Severe learning disability says, "Oh, I hope this girl doesn't get to choose, as she's a total I think I understand why she doesn't like him." They all meet up in the park next to a dam. Closet and LeBron are absent, so the plot can't move forward, so the side characters have a big chinwag instead, and then they're like, "Ooh, who's that?" Like he's coming out of the smoke like Goldberg. She falls over for some reason, and apparently they can cry again now. Severe learning disability acts like an asshole and basically guarantees his own death and punches Vanilla. He tries to put the schmoves on his boy and tries to manipulate his mate into killing everyone else. He goes to throw the dice in frustration, which would count as rolling it, you big idiot. He realises that he's totally fucked and grabs love interest, as I realise I didn't have a name for her the whole time, so I'm just going to go with that. He threatens to kill her if someone doesn't throw the dice and actually stabs her in the leg. Closet says that he will throw the dice and take the sacrifice, and Vanilla takes it from him because he's the main character. It's a fat 6, and Vanilla has to say everyone he wants to die's name. Like a dumb blood clot, Vanilla accidentally says this guy's name, and he's totally fucked. I think I'd say the hostage taker's name really quiet, and then name the others besides love interest and Closet. Severe learning disability's mate, who I will now call Top Lad for his limited remaining screen time, punches him and frees love interest. He says both their names, and that's that. Then they do some daggering on the floor for some reason. Vanilla is about to cop it, and his WASD hand flies off and gets some pretty solid airtime. He starts popping and locking, but all wrong-like. And then he's like, "Oh, what is heaven like?" I yawned so violently it caused my jaw to cramp. LeBron jacks Vanilla's phone like a London hoodlum. They take the old game of the letters signed by the king. Prep yourself, dear viewer, for quite possibly the worst and dumbest plot twist in human history. Apparently, researchers thought that it was a virus that was responsible for killing people via hypnosis, which is pretty fucking dumb, as how are you going to spin your head around like this? I fear, dear viewer, we've entered the next stage of the show, known as the silly bollocks zone. They wonder how they caught the virus, and suggest that it evolved so that it can infect people via cell phone. All of this shite for that. I think I'd have preferred Ancient Alien or Spirit, to be honest. I think next time I get a cold, I'm going to be like, "Oh no, the virus. It's hypnotising me, making me eat cream eggs. Oh no. Oh, the virus. It's suggesting..." No. The concept of a virus being able to hypnotise people is also extremely funny and shit. How the fuck a normal virus can become a computer virus is never truly explained, and I'm honestly quite thankful for it. Everyone who is killed gets a 1-syllable text, and if you stitch them together you get a special message. Ooh, I see. I've received some letters. Get to fuck ud. Ah, wow. Get fucked. LeBron says she found a bug in the programming, which A, suggests that the virus is competent in Python, and B, she was able to build an antivirus to stop it. LeBron says her father was a genius programmer, and then says, "Oh, actually, that doesn't matter," and then starts tapping away to some shit 8-bit music. The virus, she declares, has been defeated. Apparently the virus was actually in C+, so she fucked it, and gets burnt alive like Ghost Rider. This is quite possibly the funniest scene I've ever seen. Please try to watch this and not laugh. Oh wait, hold on. "The king says that if you laugh, you die. You must comply." There we go. She fucking blazes like Johnny Storm, keeps typing away like that Tibetan monk on the Rage Against the Machine album. We get an even worse scene than the one I refused to mention before, where she discusses her abuse, and it just made me ill that someone would draw the accessories for it. I hate this fucking donklet. She says, "The game makes me feel something again," and then activates her nine-tails chakra. We get back to real time again. Oh, no, wait, hold on. I've got more to say. How the fuck did a virus set a trap revolving antivirus software like it's fucking McAfee? Anyway, the Hogwarts trio reach the village and into Diagon Alley. They argue about the value of life or some shit, and they reach the village hidden in the leaves. They begin by searching the house labelled Honda, the same name as love interest, and it's revealed that there is a connection between them. Ron loses Hermione, saying that he was too busy staring at a house like some sort of postmodern architect wanker. Most of the Sports Day people cop it in one go. Closet goes looking for the pair and finds a rotting corpse of love interest dad. Apparently both love interest and Honda Accord are related. Him missing the same name, but I guess Honda is kind of like Smith over there. It seems like this family is drawn to Closet like flies to shit. The ages don't really make sense. Hermione has to text two people saying die, and she elects herself and Honda Accord, which is a pretty valid choice, though she should have just given it to the girl that was doomed to die anyway. She asks Ron if she thinks she's beautiful and loves her, and I think he really missed a trick here. I ain't never stopped loving you, bitch.
I love you, bitch. Oh my God. I ain't gonna never stop loving you, bitch.
Ron panics and can't say he likes her like a colossal dipshit, and they have this awkward hug, like he's restraining a badger at a vet. He kisses her and she heel turns, saying, "Oh, die with me. Be with me in the afterlife." This is possibly the only thing I've liked about this show, as it actually adds tension to the task without some crude or sexualised mechanism, but rather two characters interacting normally. Based on his sort of standoff nature, you aren't sure whether he actually likes her, but by him countering and saying it means nothing if they aren't alive to enjoy each other's love, does he actually love her? Competent writing. He knocks her out with a body shot. Ooh, okay. He uses her hand to send the messages instead, hoping to bypass the rules. He picks his own name like a big dumb bumperclart when he totally didn't need to, but he does manage to complete his quest to protect her. Little doggy comes out and gets a nice little chocolate mousse treat. We realise that she killed her family to get rid of all the important things to her, and hilariously her mum and dad didn't count, both of them in the afterlife looking down at each other in dismay. They come to realise that the original phone is what matters, so switching cell provider didn't work, and Closet is all nonchalant, like, oh well, whoopsie daisy. Then Closet realises what this actually means. It means Ron failed the protection quest, so he is now cooked too. He pushes him onto all fours like a big pervert, and Ron waits for penetration. He crawls to Hermione to be with her in the end, in the only heartfelt moment in the entire show. It's the singular sole light in all 12 episodes, tempting you in the ocean's depths like an anglerfish. Now these two are gone, I once again could not give a single valiant shit about what happens next. Closet comes back to rearrange them both, like mannequins in funny poses. Closet gets a call, and this dipshit apparently didn't notice that he lost his phone the entire time. Like, what? She's just bouncing on a cock crazy style, and we get a cliffhanger. Episode 8 begins. This guy has post-nut comatose like an Egyptian mummy, and Honda Accord taunts Closet. She bangs on the door with the same resonance as a T-Rex from Jurassic Park, and she snatches his phone. Why at this point she doesn't kick the door open so she lands on her fat head, I'm not entirely sure. The letters being sent are apparently a bug in the programming like Bethesda made it, and the game is physically mutating however the fuck that works. He takes a call from someone from Africa on account of the malaria net. Maria here is using an Xbox 360 wireless headset. For some reason she's sort of dressed like a tavern wench. Apparently she was looking to another school that was affected by the virus, and as she monologues a little kid goes wee. Malaria figured out that Honda Accord and LeBron have a connection to each other, which must have meant that school had a pretty devastating basketball team. Apparently the syllables sent after people's deaths are the same in both games, and Closet hits all fours like a good puppy. Honda Accord turns up, somehow knowing where they were at this random park. At this point I think I just headbutt her and take my phone back. He wants to talk in private for some reason, and he confronts her on her history. The rest of the class wisely appear to conspire against Honda Accord like some sort of bad MOT. The class have to break or cut off their fingers in seat order, like the world's worst roll call. And lastly on the register at Wolf.
Yes, sir.
Each finger has a convoluted value, with the right hand being positive and the left being negative. And once again, it seems like being a big asshole is going to have ramifications for someone. I'd just have everyone break one of their fingers to ensure that you fuck over this crazy and she won't have enough points to save herself. She apparently has stolen more phones, so why they don't rush her and beat the piss out of her, I have no idea. If it were me, she'd get about 3 words into her monologue before I missile drop-kicked her in the face like I'm some sort of Joshi wrestler. They continually pass around the circle as some sort of plan, like the worst game of Duck Duck Goose. The haircut guy just whips out some scissors and starts cutting Closet's hair. He spruces him up like it's Queer Eye for the straight guy, and I hope Closet can finally use this glow-up to be secure in his own sexuality. I feel like we're going to get some wanky monologue about ruined dreams or some shit, and he breaks his fingers, and he's like, "Oh, do you like your hair, Closet?" I feel like Closet is under some duress here, and he's like, "Yeah, sure, champ, it's a winner." He's like, "I'm going to teach you a lesson," and starts breaking his fingers with a rock. Closet shouts, "Teriyaki!" like he's trying to communicate with a hard-of-hearing subway worker. His index and middle finger break, devastating all the lusty maidens in a mile radius. He says his life isn't worth living if he can't cut hair, which honestly made me burst out laughing. He damaged his own fingers so they could get the phone back from Honda Accord, in the worst trade deal of all time. Then he rightfully double-crosses her, giving her a bunch of negative points, and she passes, not wanting to sacrifice any of her fingers. Honda Accord's friend hits her with a backstab like she's the spy from Team Fortress 2. She grabs the rock and goes to smash her finger, a test to see if her friend would care, and then she totally fucks it. This is obviously fucking stupid, as all she'd have to say is passed and Honda Accord is done. Then Honda Accord uses the rock to smash her friend's fingers, and she's like, "Watch, people do strange things when presented with the extremes." We have a wanky flashback about Honda Accord being a good friend, despite smashing her mate's fingers in, and the lamest writing possibly in the show. Closet is frankly baffled by this decision, just like me. Then Honda breaks her mate's last finger, like a right twat, saying she did it for her, and she should give herself the last point. Closet is like, "Did your friend's sacrifice change the way you're going to play?" And Honda Accord is like, "You dumb bruv!" Apparently Hairdresser says he's never going to be able to use his hand again, which was pretty fucking stupid to pulverise it with a rock, rather than just doing a clean break. The rest of the class say they will stick together and share their will to live, something I wish they'd shared with me, as I'm running dry like I'm on fucking Mars. Team comes in to ruin the mood, and suggests you should only play the game for yourself, like that makes her remotely trustable. She says to Closet, "What kind of man are you?" and he cries. They engage in a wanky back and forth. I generally don't know why they just don't hit her over the head with a pipe and dump her over the edge like a mob hit. She gives some backstory that she had to kill some other dickhead in some other school, and I just zoned out hard. She gently headbutts him like a newborn goat. Apparently Teriyaki broke the rules, but I'm not really sure why. He gets his neck blurred out like it's a Japanese porn actor's cock, and apparently Honda Accord blocked the king's number. Why she also didn't do the same on Closet's phone, I have no idea. Probably because he's the main character and the author forgot. Big plot hole. I'm not lying here or embellishing, but during another wanky monologue, I just looked outside and watched a squirrel climb a tree, marvelling at his little leggies going up as he clutched a leaf in his mouth. When I look back, Honda Accord is kicking Teriyaki's head like she's Messi.
El disparo de Messi!
At this point, why anyone would ever join forces with this bitch, I have no idea. And Closet is like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" She stops her mate and outright admits that she's only keeping her alive for her own benefit. And Femboy comes back with a sweet hat, and he's like, "What are you doing on the ground, dog?" And he gives him a matching hat. Neat. He's clearly gone mad at the sight of his friend being dead, and he's like, "Why don't you like your sweet hat?" Beyond the grave, Teriyaki is furious, as blue was never his colour. Idiot. All the classmates are told to run up a mountain, with every 8 hours whoever's in last place being eliminated and dying. We know Honda Accord's going to be number 1 because she's the fastest runner as seen in episode 1, and Femboy loses his sweet hat. No! The ultimate heel move would be Honda Accord stealing Femboy's hat, as that would be fucking nuclear heat with me, like she stole my hidden mini-eggs. They run in a big line like those bellends in High Viz, as they begin turning on each other. Apparently some of the class have been swayed to the Dickhead Club. Masatoshi here is knocked out and can't run, and he's eventually left. Clearly someone skipped out on cardio, as Tavern Wench is left behind. Closet goes back for some reason, and gets, refreshments. Fuck me. They sit on a verge like they're teenagers from the southwest of England, drinking cider and getting shit-faced, and then they just leave Tavern Wench, who's still pouring at her drink like a sloth. Closet goes back to help Tavern Wench, who's literally running in custard. He came back because apparently she has long nails and can't open her drink, and that really annoyed me more than it should have. Honestly, I'd just get shit-faced with the homies on the way up, like a fun hike. Based on his headband, I'm going to call him the 4th Hokage. Femboy is also killing it cardio-wise, as he's become my new favourite character, even after losing his cool hat. They stop to watch the sunset as Tavern Wench and the 4th Hokage say that they won't reach the summit in time at their pace, as Closet is holding himself back. He spaces out and starts seeing love interest, who disappears as the fourth Hokage drops like a rock post-concussion. He activates the shadow clone jutsu, leaving a clever replacement in his wake, and Closet dives after it. Closet is finally himself, and sensually kisses the fourth Hokage, which was honestly a beautiful moment. Watch this neat little edit I made. He starts submerging like he's some fucking Trident submarine, and Ron and Hermione's Force Ghosts appear along with Teriyaki and love interest, and we get the scene from episode 1. He emerges from the water and just has a chill on the sand, in what I think is King's Game's beach episode. She says this gloomy mode doesn't suit you, like he wasn't a miserable fuck for 8 episodes. Closet adds another to his harem, but sadly it's a dude, so he's not really big on it. It's time for the first cut after 8 hours of running, so to make sure that Tavern Wench doesn't die, he pretends to tie his shoe like a time-wasting goalkeeper. The text comes through, and it's set to punish the fourth Hokage. This does not make any fucking sense, as last time someone died before the mission was over, the punishment got transferred to someone else. She gives him a slap, but it sounds like she got more palm than fingers. Ow. I admit that the intro song has grown on me a little bit, so let's enjoy the wolf pit. Tavern Wench says that she'll kick Closet in the balls if he doesn't make it, and honestly I think that's a solid trade. If I was offered a swift kick to the bollocks instead of finishing this show, I would gladly take the deal. What do you know? The best parts of this show are challenges where there's no weird sex fetish pandering. It's at its best, which is admittedly a bit like being the shiniest shit. Basically, it's incel kaiji. Oh, his hat's back, and Femboy cries with joy. Me too, brother. It's almost time for another cut, which I thought happened every 8 hours, so at this point they've been running for 16 hours, like they're trying to warn Athens about a Persian invasion. If you're wondering, hombres and senoritas, in races like these, it's often better to walk segments rather than blow yourself out. Even the Royal Marines say in their final selection that you walk up the inclines and run down the declines. These motherfuckers have the same stamina as a Call of Duty protagonist, or some sort of methed out Lance Armstrong. I tried to be an arsehole and find this place on the map, so I could figure out how far they had to plausibly run and how fast they would need to be. But wisely, it's all made up, and the place doesn't exist. Closet is like, how about we use rock, paper, scissors to decide the next person to die, even though they've already said that she's too slow to reach the summit anyway, but this is totally dropped and it's never mentioned again. He wins and starts running away from the mounting so that he dies, saying that, oh, the winner gets to decide what counts as winning, and she correctly kicks him in the balls for being a whiny prick. I don't know why anime people do this pose, as if I got remotely close to that, my knees would explode like the Challenger disaster. She says the next girl who you like better be at least as good as me, and he says, oh, that's a high standard. Closet entering his bisexual arc, it seems. He's like, haha, snooze you lose, and starts running away from her, going the wrong way. Femboy wished he took the blue hat. Well, it turns out that Honda Accord's mate, who I forgot to name, began running backwards on the other side of the mountain, and she's the one to die instead. She reminisces fondly about her dickhead mate, and dies. Whap whap. Closet eventually comes back like a bellhead boomerang, and she begs him to survive. Aww. He confides in Tavern Wench, and we hopefully get the last flashback. They mope around and get the next message from the king via Discord, telling them to kill the person they love the most in 5 minutes, which thankfully limits the amount of time the monologue will take. She's like, I want you to leave. I want you to leave. And at this point she tries to do herself in like she's dishonoured her ancestors in battle, though I'm not sure how this counts as killing her, maybe in an abstract sense. I don't fucking know. The final message from the king being continue the game or receive punishment, like a lycra-clad mistress. This lad, who I named Dumbfuck, gets tricked by Bugs Bunny into going the wrong way with the sign spinning technique, and falls into a pitfall trap even though it's about ankle deep. I don't know why he didn't just roll away as she menacingly walked up to him like an undercover policeman posing as a prostitute. And these chuckle fucks start getting picked off one by one. They start approaching the summit and start getting lost. This girl leaves Broke Leg Mountain, and he hits Damn It with a hard T. The two who went ahead to scout have a little debate, and one falls down the ledge. She goes to help her mate, and then she's like, Psych! She bumps into Honda Accord, and we see her eyes comically big, like Heismay from Metaphor. We get a really funny zombie crazy moment, and Honda Accord says she murdered all of her classmates, and says to the girl, like Stormzy,
But you don't have the backbone.
I can safely say, dear viewer, that I have never cry-ran in my life. I save all of my tears for my pillowcase and do sad little leg kicks on my favourite character Duvet. They realise that they were almost out of time, like they couldn't have checked at any point. Honda Accord skids in like Colin McRae. Closet hits Honda Accord with the hit stick like he's Ray Lewis. I've continually joked so far that they should just beat her ass at all these different points, but if she dragged my foot and went I'd have hit her with the biggest elbow drop in human history. I'd be gutted if Femboy dies. I really will, as he puts the shift in to take second place. Tavern Wench gets weirdly jealous about Closet carrying Four Eyes here, and he dumps her body like he's playing Hitman. Those that Honda Accord tricked are killed, and it's confirmed that Closet kicked her in the face, which we sadly didn't get to see. Femboy heel turns like John Cena and clarks Closet with a rock. He looks like me trying to get through the shit, and he says they've got a new task from the king to make a human puppet. He knocked out Closet as he intends to cut himself up and be the hero, and he knows that Closet would do a wanky monologue about how precious life is and try to stop him. He says he is sacrificing himself for his friends, a la Jesus, and Honda teleports a chainsaw out of her inventory like she's fucking Sung Jin Woo. She's like, it's best to do it fast, and he's like, ah, sick, pog, thanks. He shouts that he's going to become a real man no matter what, and begins to cut himself up. I was hoping for a quick face turn, where he turns on Honda Accord, but clearly the author isn't ready to give us all what we want to make Femboy the main character. No, sorry, that's rude of me. I'm going to honour his commitment to being a real man, and thus will refer to him more respectfully. Femman cuts his leg off and he dies.
He's begging the official.
Four Eyes tries to be useful and gets killed for it. Closet pops up to his feet, no-selling Femman's stone shot. Closet rightfully says that Fenman was way more awesome than he is, and I heartily agree. They update Closet on the task, and he's showing no sign of brain trauma, unfortunately. She factory resets and is like, wait, what are you planning? Should we work with her? No, you dumb idiot. They show Honda Accord the notes they collected, and she says that she's collected them too. We get the virus thing again, which I completely fucking forgot about, and they reinforce that the real virus became a computer virus somehow. This is cataclysmic levels of stupidity. I reckon the author just took science off and just wanked over the class skeleton in the corner. Apparently the combined message reads, end the game by offering your lives. As long as even one of you survives, the king game won't end until all of humanity is destroyed. I think this virus should be put on some sort of watch list on account of seemingly focusing on fucking around with Japanese children. I still can't get my head around being a real hypnotizing virus becoming computer virus, so I won't even try. This ending better be good, or I fear that I may be extremely fucking angry once more. Apparently the world is in these three gooners' hands, so I think it's safe to say that we're totally fucked. She says, I'm going to kill you, and gives him a meek little slap. Honda Accord ragdolls this little wimp, and he starts foaming at the mouth like he got bitten by a feral raccoon, until Tavern Wench runs her through with a chainsaw. Truly, King's game walked so Chainsaw Man could run. Closet says, oh no, I think she made sense, which she didn't. Honda Accord self-revives like it's fucking Warzone, and Closet finally gets done over. Good. We get sad flashback music like we give a fuck, and they both die. Aww. If she was smart, she would have quickly done herself in, so the virus would end and save the world. Instead, Closet is like, survive, doom humanity. Wow, cheers dickhead. Closet wakes up in gay heaven and sees love interest again. They hug and he feels something prod into his groin. Truly, it is heaven. Why this bitch is here, I don't actually know. Oh, Rainbow Stairs, it is gay heaven. I was right all along once again. I truly am the great seer of my time. She drags Closet's body to the beach and kisses him, which is kind of weird, chastising him for not opening his eyes. Naturally, he's not into it, as he's already balls deep in gay heaven, but she takes him to the water in the worst Viking funeral I've ever seen. And, that's it. Yeah, that's it. We get a post-credits section where we go back in time, I think, and this one guy's like, ooh, what's this King's Game? Like he accidentally downloaded Clash of Clans. So that was King's Game. Honestly, it got better as it went on, where they just abandoned the disgusting freak forced sexual relations, so that incels can fantasize about the girl they like, not having any choice but to have sex with them. Nobuaki Kanazawa, you shitcake donklet, fuck you. Bye!